Hi, my name is Guy Yalif and I'm co-founder and CEO of Intellimize. And today we're going to talk about advanced approaches to product and content recommendations. We're going to talk about different approaches based on knowledge of the item you're recommending or user behavior. On the left, we have approaches that depend on your understanding a bunch about each item, which is the content. This could mean, for example, knowing that a book is paperback or about history or by a popular author. On the right, we've got approaches that depend on you understanding visitor behavior. This could mean, for example, knowing how each visitor rated a movie on a scale of 1 to 5. Let's talk through these four approaches, starting in the upper left. To use this approach, you've got data about each item along a bunch of dimensions. You also need to know which item a visitor has seen, and you need to know which items that visitor bought, and therefore which ones they did not buy. You can build a machine learning model for each individual visitor that predicts the items that are similar to the ones they already liked. Your knowledge of the items and of that visitor's behavior are the inputs to your model. This is kind of like, since you like these, you may also like that kind of recommendation. In the lower left, if you know a bunch about every item, you can skip machine learning altogether. You can simply see how similar each item is to every other item and recommend similar ones. You'll see how different or far apart each item is on each dimension to do this. This is like recommending similar items. Really importantly, you don't need to know anything about user preferences here. In the upper right, to use this approach, you need to understand how positively a visitor feels about different items. In a real-life example, this could mean knowing how each visitor rated a movie on a scale of 1 to 5. Importantly, you don't need to know anything about the item itself. You then create a machine learning model for each individual visitor. First, you find other visitors similar to this one. And similar in this case means they rated a bunch of items similarly. You've got similar tastes. You then create a machine learning model to predict the rating this visitor will give items they've never seen before, based on the ratings for that item from other people who had similar tastes. And then you show this visitor the items we predict they're likely to rate highly. This is kind of like people like you also like this style of recommendation. Now in the lower right, to use this approach, you need to know how positively a visitor feels about different items. This could mean, for example, the 1 to 5 rating for a movie that we spoke about earlier. You don't need to know about the item itself. In the upper right, we created a model for each visitor. In the lower right, we're creating a model for each item. First, you find similar items. In this case, similar means that a whole bunch of visitors who rated this item highly also rated that item highly. Then you predict the rating users in general will give the other items based on the ratings for those from users that rated this one highly. Finally, you show items we predict will be highly rated by people who rated this current item highly. This is kind of like saying people who like this also like that style of recommendation. Now, a classic illustration of collaborative filtering is this one. If I'm browsing diapers, I might be shown a product recommendation for beer. If I'm looking at the products themselves, they got nothing in common. It would not be possible to use content-based recommendations to show these at the same time as a result. However, if we're using insights about user preferences, then this recommendation is not only possible, it might make a lot of good sense. Why? People who buy diapers are often parents. They need a break. Having a beer may be exactly the way those parents want to take that break. This is not only possible when you're doing collaborative filtering, but it's the only way to create this kind of recommendation because it's based on user behavior. If you'd like to talk more about advanced concepts in making product and content recommendations, please reach out to us today.